my God.
Already.
Here we go. Here it is. Yes, this is crazy. Here it is. We're finally recording. Can't believe this is happening. Welcome to Beyond the Cube podcast. It's great to have you guys here. I am Bob, and also along with me for the podcast is my work husband, my best friend, my guy, my main man, Vince. What's up, Vince?
Not much. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's all
Yeah,
good.
I
Totally
call him
understandable.
I call him like I see him. I can't help it.
It's true, man. Like for real,
Dudes.
like since we started working together, I don't know. As soon as we started talking, really, it's like everything just clicked. Like the musics, the movies, not so much the shows,
Yeah,
but we're working on that, I guess.
it'd be like that. It'd be like that. You're gonna have to give Project Runway a chance. There's no way around it. Gonna have to. Dude,
I know. I
so
haven't been
man,
watching much.
yeah. So it's crazy. Like first episode, here it is. You know, just due to work schedules, due to just things, due to life. You know, it's and just also trying to figure out the best way to kind of get this done. It's happening right now. This is a thing. It's like for real happening.
It is, yeah. It's been a few methods that we've kind of looked over. I guess this is the best so far.
Yes.
Like,
Everything sounds great. Everything is good. Definitely totally appreciate you taking and definitely doing all like the technical looking into all this because I would be like, I'd probably use whatever was on my laptop and that was it. Like this is genius, bro.
well, I mean, that's the fun part, really, for me. Just kind of going through and seeing what would work best. Like the other suggestions that people had too. This is something that was kind of out of the box, also, which is kind of fun. But no, we got this figured out, and we're making it work with what we got.
Right on. And this once again, first episode, kind of sort of probably gonna fumble our way through this a little as far as like back and forth with you. Bro, like I mean I know like people that are around us like because obviously me and you work together. We sit pretty much right across from each other. And now people, if you're listening from work to this, you're probably like, oh my God, like these guys don't stop. It's like it's just nonstop with these guys, obviously.
Probably asking who we're going to troll at this time too, which I don't think we're going to be trolling anyone, but we'll see. Probably just each other.
So speaking of that, you know, for the people who may not necessarily know you or who may not necessarily know me, you want to go ahead and give them a little bit about yourself, Vince.
Yeah, sure. I'll start. Basically, I'm defined by being a father first, a husband second, a gamer, and a writer. Those are kind of like on the wayside right now. Also have a lot of kind of like technical, like either background or yeah, just interest really. I guess I'd start with my influences, kind of. So many like influences like music, movies, books, and a lot of that's I'm sure going to come out at some point here. Um, as for hobbies, like really, like yeah, my son comes like first. It's just so fun. Like it's definitely a defining thing. And then teaching him how to do the board game, which has definitely been a hobby and a love of mine. And even sharing like the reading and writing with him. He's so creative. He comes up with stuff on the fly. The same way, kind of like I'll come up with like an idea at work, and I'll kind of just like jot it down, and then later on I'm writing like a short story based on it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, as for the technical stuff, like I mean, with the podcasting, with the website, with the graphics, with coding, just kind of a lot of kind of all over the place. Not really a master of any of it, but know quite a bit about a few things. Other than that, just I mean, current stuff I'm working on is mostly the writing, and then of course this podcast here too. Just different projects that we got going on with that. But yeah, that kind of sums up a lot of about me, and like I said, a lot of it's going to come out during these podcasts here too.
Yep, for sure. Yes, awesome.
So how about you, Bob? What drives you?
Man, so yeah, as far as being driven, the one thing that I feel like drives me the most is I don't like to fail. I don't like to, and fail can be interpreted so many different ways. Obviously, it's something that when you're handed something, you want to be able to complete it and complete it to the best that you possibly can. And like I said, whether it's a doing some artwork for whatever, trying to, fix or format a website, or just, being the best, husband, father that I possibly can be. I'm driven by success, by not wanting to fail, obviously, and I take that very serious. But at the same time, I feel like I'm not really just a complete serious person by any means. That's not really probably the best way to sort of introduce myself. So, if you happen to know me, you probably would say that I'm hardly ever in a bad mood, and that's going to be also who you would ask about that as well too. I feel like I'm an easy person to get along with. I get along with in any situation. I feel like that there's never an issue to not be just nice to somebody, basically. And it's just to not be the jerk kind of thing, really. Along with that, skill trade wise, I would say that I am a creative. I do everything from graphic design, web development, artwork. You know, I got I dabble in a lot of different venues and just different things. Also, very big into signage and screen printing. I, Once again, just I like to be able to provide whatever I can to somebody who might need some sort of services. Just recently, was very fortunate to have the opportunity to do some branding. I have an old longtime friend who recently purchased a bar, and once again, I was very fortunate that they reached out to me and basically had asked some advice and to be consulted on some branding, and from there I was able to take it and run with it. Honestly, I was given a little piece of information of what they were looking to do, and the type of demographic and people they were really going after, and came up with a logo for them which they loved, and we got it slapped all over that building and all over a bunch of apparel. And yeah, and it's just, and honestly, it's a I truly enjoy doing it. I truly enjoy having people in businesses, have like an idea and be able to bring that idea to life and to make it better than what they even thought that it could be in the first place too, man. Like that's what really gets me, just to be successful, man, and what I do, and just and also have a good time while doing it also as well. I I think as a creative, I'm definitely influenced by a lot of different things. Primarily, what I think what I find myself really truly drawn to is just vintage typography and like script lettering. Whatever I do, I can't get enough of it. I am really ultimately what my end goal is, that I'm like kind of secretly on the slide doing, and sort of teaching myself, is some hand lettering. I am just like, lettering is if I could just literally just like letter all day, that I would be just, I'd be so happy. that's that's kind of my jam. And if I was asked if I had a design style, I think I feel like I lean very heavy towards that. I'm confident enough to if maybe my style is not something that somebody is particularly interested in, however they still have an idea, I'm beyond confident that I could definitely achieve it, and possibly even give somebody an alternative look, just for another thing to look at. I you know and with that being said, having a full-time job, and doing work on the side, I don't really have a whole lot of time for extra hobbies. I, uh, I participate and I volunteer at a local church, and I you know I do have my shows. I have, obviously, I'm a huge sports fan. If you know me, diehard Cubs fan, diehard Bears fan. You know, I guess I do have a thing for bad TV because, and I mean, it's not really bad. To me, it's amazing. But like, bro, Oak Island, man, that is my jam, dude. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, of what's happening there, because there's some unreal crazy things that just like, oh man, dude, it's just like how and why, like it's just insane.
I
Yeah,
can't
so
lie.
Oak
I will
Island,
totally end goal that too with you. Like, if we got to
bro.
up and move out to Oak Island,
We're the,
even though
no
it's
Nova,
cursed, we'll totally do it.
and so like yeah, so I have a friend who doesn't really watch TV, and he, the opening they say, the fable is that seven men are supposed to die, and currently there are six. So according to that story, basically it means that somebody just needs to sacrifice himself, right? Like something like that happens, and then I think we find the treasure. Although,
Well, that makes sense though.
but last episode, man, okay, so we are recording January 10th, 2019. 2 days ago, there was an episode of Oak Island that completely just was overload. Man, like, oh my God, it was just amazing. It was unreal.
So
Vince,
they did discover stuff, huh?
man, they're finding all sorts of stuff. It's crazy.
Because I do
So,
remember the walks at break where it's like, man, it's like they built it up this whole time, and then they just ended up the episode and nothing happened, and it's like,
it was almost like this time last year where walks on Wednesday, well Tuesday would be like, okay, nice, so you got writing group, I got Oak Island, tomorrow we're going to discuss. And so but on Tuesday during the walks I'd be like, man, look at this, is where they're at, I know this is the episode, dude, this is it, they're going to find it and figure it out. And on Wednesday it was pretty much just like, dude, nothing, I gotta wait till next week.
no. And I know it seemed like it was like a season kind of full of that too. At least one of the seasons was like a complete build up, but it
Oh
sounds like
man,
this one they're really like hitting stuff here.
so many cool things, man, and so many different technologies and stuff that they're using, and just the problem solving, and I guess really truly, uh, thinking about things in a different way. It just, there is no X on this place, obviously. There's no like that would
Yeah.
defeat the whole show. So you have a problem. You got to try to, apparently there's this story of this crazy treasure that's on this island, and it's supposedly it's buried so many feet deep, and it's been over 200 years that people have been looking for this treasure, that the area has been disturbed so much that some things were recorded extremely well and documented well, others just were not, and things were just completely just destroyed. So a lot of the landmarks and stuff that used to be there are no longer there. So with all that being said, and you're so far removed from the time when the original depositors were there, like we're talking like hundreds of years, maybe, I mean, like at this point, what they're talking about, they're even talking like maybe like 300, 400 years ago. Like, and
Yeah.
and to be able to discover and like and unravel this is like insane. It's complete madness.
Oh yeah, and with what it sounds like they have set up over there too, like not like trap wise, but I mean like kind of like setting up like the vaults, or even just kind of like the hidden like the areas where it's like people can kind of get into the like kind of catacombs, but then like yeah, just trying to discover everything that's around that too. No, it's definitely something that like sounds interesting, and man, maybe I'll just wait till that payoff happens, and then I'll be able to catch up.
Well, it's like one of those things. It like my wife goes nuts over it because you watch the current brand new episode, and about like 15 minutes of the episode is gonna be like throwbacks of like different things that happened like a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, and you're just rewatching the same thing over and over again. they they do a really good job of rerunning it. The day before, I think, or like even like a couple hours before. If you're lucky enough, you can catch like a whole entire marathon like on the weekends, I think, every now and then. So I completely stay abreast to Oak Island, man. I like I said, I'm a crazy diehard fan about it.
See, so I'm kind of on the flip side of that, where like my like bad TV, I feel is kind of like the American Ninja Warrior or like Titan games kind of stuff, where it's like these people are doing like the competition for like it's either like obstacle courses or even like kind of like the strongman competitions or even just kind of like the parkour stuff.
Mhm.
Like I don't even know why I really get invested into it. And I have in Titan Games now, which is like The Rock's new show, and it totally doesn't make sense why I'm into this, but I'll sit there and watch as it's like, what was it, like the competitions that they have? It's like one was like swinging a wrecking ball to knock over like 5 pillars, but they had to like use this rope to kind of like swing it around in a circle, and it's like they can swing it around in a circle, knock down one, but then it's like they have to like really force it to try and kind of get to the second one. Otherwise, they have to kind of start over and
Mhm.
start moving that circle out farther to one other direction.
Nice.
Or even the ones where it's like they have to kind of like, what was it? They had to like push these like just really heavy walls and then even like climb over like those barrels, slide down a couple of slides and over some walls, and then carry like a wrecking ball, like a 200+ pound wrecking ball, like across like the field to this thing. And it's just, I don't know why I like that stuff, but, but it just happens.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I talking about like bad TV and like stuff like that. I so watching shows like Wipeout when that show used to be on.
Yes.
Like back in the day, I was like that, like maybe like 10 years ago. If I was on that, I totally feel like I could be on that show and like probably get close, if not win the show. But I see these people like continuously get punched in the face and like just nonstop like are just falling every single time they climb up the ladder. And like now I'm just like, oh my god, like I need to tap out. Can't do this, man. No way.
I know, right? Back when I was younger, like in working at like UPS, I could see that, be like, oh, I
Mhm.
might be able to do this. But it's like looking at it now, I'm like, nope.
Nope.
I would be right in that water with all the rest of them. So okay, so in the vein of Wipeout, do you remember I Survived a Japanese game show?
So by that, the only thing I can remember that was semi-similar to this is that show that was MXC, and that was the show that
Yes.
like where they had like the voiceovers, the really, really completely bad voiceovers.
No, it was in that same vein. Where it's basically it's like it they did the same kind of challenges, but it was just the same people, and it's like, oh, it's like over the top and it's super fun. I thought,
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Spike back then. I don't know what channel it is now. I don't know if it's like if it's True TV or if it's Paramount Network or whatever. I think it's Paramount now actually. Um, but yeah. So I like Spike used to have like it seemed like they would show him for like 2 or 3 hours in a row, just nonstop. And like it was funny because it seemed like it would always kind of be the same ones, but it was one of those shows that was so good like you could still watch it. So one of the shows that is that way is I know is one of your favorites, and it's definitely one of my favorites. And by my favorites, I mean like one of my favorites, y'all. Oh, it's my favorite, y'all. And Practical Jokers, dude. What do you think? Tell me. Give
I
me
was
your review
actually
on Practical.
I was just watching that before we did this too. Like I tuned in live because I miss it on live on Thursdays. I was like, or like the new episodes on Thursdays. I was like, man, I haven't watched this in a while. So I was like, just open up the app on the Roku and it was like, here we go.
God, dude. So if you had to say that you were one type of Joker, which Joker would you say you are and why?
So I'd like to say I would be like a Joe, but I feel like I'm gonna be a Sal. I just can't do it. Like I don't know. I have I do have like some savageness, I guess, in me, but not to that level of Joe. Like he's definitely the extreme, and Sal I feel is like the weakest on that. So where it's like kind of just looking at the challenges and stuff and be like, no, nope,
So
or even just
if I had
cracking
to,
up.
that's like the thing. So like, you know, me and you, like whenever there's Laffy Taffies around, I'm gonna grab probably a handful of them. not only to eat them, but because of the jokes that are on the Laffy Taffies. And
Yep.
it seems to me that like out of the two jokes, you definitely got one that's like a home run for sure, like guaranteed. Like it's amazing, and it's like on the borderline of like dad jokes. So whenever I'm getting a Laffy Taffy, I'm trying to hit you with these jokes to see if I can make you laugh or not, and like deliver them the same way that the guys that do dad jokes are. And typically, you're right. I usually get one out of you. For me, if I was gonna say if I was any type of joker, I'm pretty sure 100% I'm Sal, because like anytime that like that it's any sort of joke, you personally can send me a message like at work, and I can read it and basically die laughing. Like there's no there is it comes out like I have it just does. So like I was gonna just read something, and if there was a like one of the things where you can't laugh at it, like I'm done for. There's no way.
Yep, I know today was definitely one of those times too, where it's like I sent a message. It's like I heard you cracking up, and I was cracking up just thinking of how funny it was. I was like, I'm dead. I was like, no more, can't do it.
So by the way, I'm gonna tell you. So no, I'm not gonna tell you. We'll wait for we'll put a pin in that, and I'll come back and tell you after the podcast. It's probably best to do it that way. That makes sense.
Some after hour stuff.
Yep. Ooh, that's right. So possible subscription idea. The Podboy or the Beyond the Cube podcast overtime. You get that extra content.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Overtime. I forgot that's how I named it. Yeah.
Working overtime, and you get that extra content. Stay tuned for more. Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, there's really so many ideas like that we've already had, and we basically have on the board ready to go. It's just we kind of wanted to see how this was going to work out and see how, like, really, I guess if we were going to have fun with it, because I guess at least for me, that's really the point at the moment. Is it's like, am I going to have fun with it? It's like, is Bob going to have fun with it? And
I mean, it's hard for us not to have fun doing anything, pretty much, honestly. Like, even, I mean, seriously, like, so, like, work. I mean, a lot of people don't have the luxury of, of enjoying their job, and like, you're a big reason why the job is so awesome and cool. like everybody that I work with, and I'm hoping that a lot of you guys are listening. Man, I mean, it could be a stressful job at times, but like just the way how everybody is, I mean, we're so fortunate to work with the people that we do, and like it's such an awesome, like, I mean, just think about it, man. Like if the atmosphere was terrible, like, oh, dude, like that's that like why?
I know I've been in some of those like awful atmospheres before, and I've been in like awful teams too. But I mean, team that we have, like not even just like our connected team, but even like I would extend it to programs, and I would extend it like even beyond that. There's so much fun, and it's like so many good people there too.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. That's very true. I say we go ahead and kind of sort of like let them in on like some of the segments that we might possibly be doing. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let me see if I have the Trello here for it.
So one of the segments that we're definitely going to do is something I came up with that it was literally on, so me and Vince, during the workday, us and a group of people will usually go for a walk, and it's such a nice stress reliever to just like to be able to get away for a second and then come back to whatever it is that you're working on with like maybe a new set of eyes, or just maybe just kind of like to reset. But we're outside walking, and I had come across this story online that completely was like, you got to be kidding me, there's no way. And come to find out, it was true. And I was like, dude, totally true stories that we're gonna make it a thing. That's it. And so yes, one of the segments that we will do is we'll come up with a couple of stories, read them, and you probably are gonna be like, man, that's insane to be true. No way that's true. But guess what? Totally true.
Oh yeah, I know there's quite a few that that we've actually like already heard, and you even sent over one today too, where I was like, wow, I was like, that is
I seen
uh,
that and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's no way I could there's no way I could be I couldn't foresee that, but like or I feel like man like it's an, but when you really truly think about it, like the benefit that you would get from doing what this guy did on this story, like wow, it's
dude.
crazy.
Even having it timed out like that was pain. It's like, oh, it's like it takes you like 12 seconds to get from your desk to the coffee machine. Like, how is that even? I don't know.
So
Some
this is what
people
we're
with
gonna
the
have to
time.
do. We're gonna have to share that link either on our well, let's share it on the on the Facebook and possibly even Twitter, so everybody else will kind of see what we're talking about.
There you go. So yeah, I mean,
Great.
let's dive into it, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's see.
So so yeah, so totally true stories. Definitely something we're gonna do. We are also going to do a would you rather, which is obviously like just a really quick segment of just like, okay, Vince, would you rather do this or would you rather do this? Very simple. It's gonna be fun. We'll have fun with it.
I don't know. There's quite a few of would you rather's that you could, at least especially being me, I could kind of go and like debate that forever. Um,
Well, so, but one of the segments that I know that we're both really excited about, which, in the same token, everybody else should be excited about, because if you happen to want to be on the podcast, there possibly is a lot of opportunities for that. So one of the really cool segments that I'm really excited about doing and being able to interact with just different listeners and stuff is so once again, it really stemmed from going outside on a walk from work. We were, I want to say it was one of those times that I just happened to bring up Keanu Reeves and was like, dude, Keanu Reeves is like my
oh
favorite
God,
actor of
yep.
all time. He is the absolute best actor ever. Not only did he do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, he also was Johnny Utah, one of the greatest absolute characters in cinematic history. But we're literally talking about, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and we have, people that we work with that literally had no idea what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, or stuff like, oh my God, even was it like Princess Bride, a classic like Top Gun. Come on, like especially those '80s ones.
Mm, mm, mm. And it's like, how do you guys not know how awesome these movies are? So once again, just the pure genius that just happens, the awesome magic that just explodes, when me and Vince start coming up with crazy awesome ideas. We were like, dude, let's talk about it. and so yeah, so we are going to talk with people with, and I feel like we don't necessarily hype up the movie, or we don't try to lead these people on to tell them what our opinions are about it, but
Yeah.
just bring up the fact that it is a really good classic movie. You really should watch it and come back to us and let us know what you think. So yeah, it's going to be basically a reaction to stuff that you know that we consider like like requirements and like rites and passages of life that you need to watch and see this, and see what the millennials, what the young crowd thinks of it.
Oh yeah, and mixed in with a lot of that stuff too. I mean, you're gonna kind of get what we're wasting our time with, like just our own little hobbies, our own interests, like that are really like being raised at the time. Because I can tell you right now, like I basically spend like playing like mobile games, and like yeah, I can review those pretty well. You get a lot of the nostalgia too, like a lot of the stories from our past. Of course, all of them appropriate. I would say keeping it
Well,
family
yeah.
friendly.
Yep,
Maybe not
that's right.
PG-13, but
Pushing the edge and borderline of like PG-13.
oh yeah, and then even just what goes on with us recently, like different like events that we have going on, different like community stuff too,
Absolutely.
especially in a community like we have right here, where there's, I mean, especially from being from like a suburb and then moving to a smaller area where there are two towns that are kind of like jammed together, but it's not like how it was in the suburbs where it's like 30 towns are just like right there, like next to each other. And it's like, oh,
Right.
by the way, Chicago's like 10 minutes this way too. Like now, like if we need to go somewhere out of town, it's typically, what do you say, like half an hour at least, half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I would say for sure probably at least about 45 minutes. And like the hot spots that I feel like I don't really venture out of town all that much. I feel like my wife definitely does more than I do. But where you would typically go to, like, go for like shopping or maybe like eating experiences that you can't necessarily get in town is I would say about 45 minutes away.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something like off the top of my head, like even really Portillo's, which used to
Dude.
be like down the street from me. Like now
Ugh.
the closest spot is like, yeah, 45 minutes away.
Man,
Even
if
with
I
them
lived
building one in what the Quad Cities, it's still like 45 minutes. So
if I lived right down the street from Portillo's, oh God,
we
dude.
used to have, oh man, this place, I think it was called Squabs. And that was like the Portillo like clone for us.
Hmm.
And oh my God, that was the same kind of food. I actually prefer their beef sandwiches to Portillo's.
Hmm.
I know it was weird,
Nice.
but it was the same kind of offering. The only thing that they had that Portillo's doesn't have is pizza puffs.
Nice. See,
You
like
know,
I don't. Okay, so when I think of pizza puffs, and the only one of the really places that one of the spots in the just like the greasy bag joints that I would go to was Uncle Nick's in Rockford. That place, like, that was one of those spots that literally would stay open until like I think 3 or 4 in the morning. It was awesome. You could order like, I mean, the pizza puffs were like barely nothing, cost like hardly anything. They had like the best gyros I've ever had ever. Just the flatbread was so awesome, and like that ZD sauce was, oh my gosh, like so ready to I'm ready to get in the car and go to Rockford just to pick up some Uncle Nick's right now, man. It's that serious.
well, well, there was a spot in I want to say it was in DeKalb. It was called like Tom and Jerry's,
Hmm.
and that's another one of those spots where it was like open until like 2 or 3 a.m. And I was kind of surprised because it's like one of the only places that was open that late in like a college town. And I'm like, dude, in a college town, you would think like at like what 1 and 2 a.m. you'd get like a decent amount of business. Just get, yeah, just the drunk college kids coming in and just be like, yo, a pizza puff sounds amazing right now. It's like let me get like five of them.
Oh man, totally miss those days. Totally miss those days. Good stuff. And then yeah, so and just and another thing too, just talking, going back to segments and stuff. I'm a diehard Cubs fan, diehard Bears fan. We we are like just like right. It was just this past Sunday that everybody witnessed the double doink. I'm I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm so sad that the Bears season is over. We did we did so much. We exceeded everybody's expectations this year, basically. And for that, I feel like you can't be upset. It just stinks the way how their season came to an end, and it's in a way, it's just, to me, I feel like it's totally ironic that, like, you know, we had we knew these issues existed, and we just like, oh, hey, our defense is amazing. We're gonna not have to rely on our kicker, and we should be fine enough to score points and stuff. And no, I mean, that's not necessarily like the official opinion, but I'm just saying, it's just, to me, I feel like it's just totally ironic. It just, like, it was like the big elephant that was in the room that, like, nobody wanted to talk about. Like, of course everybody knew that this game was ultimately going to come down to the kicker who hit the field goal post 3 times in one game. Dude, I feel
yeah,
like if Parkey tried to legitimately try to hit the pole, Like, I seriously feel like there's no way he could do it.
I don't know if anyone's like that accurate, man. That
Wow.
I don't know, unless he was trying to hit it, because then that is just pure talent. Like especially being able to do it 3 times in one game.
3 times in one game,
Like
you seriously should get like 15 points. Like,
like
you know,
like in like an experience bonus kind of thing. It's like you
level
have
up.
unlocked a new achievement.
But yeah, but so yeah, so on the podcast, I'm sure I mean, you're probably definitely are going to get some sort of sports take on like what's currently happened, because I'm just going to talk about Cubs and Bears. There's no way around it. And another thing too with the Cubs, fun fact, me and Vince, we help out and assist on another podcast, the Ivy Boys. Definitely check them out. Check out the website, theivyboys.com. It is admin by yours truly, by us. And we also assist in doing their podcast stuff too. So yeah, man, I definitely know that between Chipper and Briz, if not both of them at some point in time, they'll be happy to be on the podcast. So definitely, check out for that. Vince, your take.
Sorry.
So here's another thing. No, that's fine. Go ahead, and I know you're looking into something. I'm gonna have to like tell a story on you, dude. So
No,
okay,
go for it, man. Go for
okay,
it.
so we decided to run a fantasy football league this year at Halo, and I went
I
ahead
don't know
and
if
was the
we is the
commissioner.
word I would use, but
so we decided to start a fantasy football league, and so my boy Vince here, he likes to play this character. And if you actually have been on the Beyond the Cube podcast.com website, he actually posted about this. And I've always had my suspicions about Vince. He came when I said, like, dude, we're gonna do like a fantasy football league. So he's like, yeah, man, I'll help you find some people to get on, and start taking over teams and filling spots and stuff. And so, Vince is my guy, and I'm like, okay, well, you got to play. I don't care if you follow sports or not, because Vince, you sort of kind of attempted to act like you didn't really know a whole lot about football. And as a matter of fact, I feel like you kind of came into work one day and said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, I read a book and I know what the quarterback does. He
yeah,
throws the ball."
it's like I know what a running back does. It's like he like takes the ball and I don't know.
So
No, there is what you. I think that was on a walk too,
of course,
where it's like you guys were like citing some kind of stats. And I was just like, oh man, and then the quarterback throws it, man. Oh dude, it's like just beautiful.
This is also the guy who during baseball season, anytime that I'm talking Cubs, I have a couple of friends who work at Halo that'll come by and just we know we're all Cubs fans, so except for a few of them. Nathan, who sits next to us, is not a Cubs fan. Zach, who sits next to Vince and sits right across from Nathan, is not a Cubs fan. They're both Cardinals fans. I don't know why. I guess everybody.
Well, you gotta be dissing on my team like that, man.
See, that's what I'm getting at. So
No,
the
I'm
funny
just-
thing is that is that as soon as I want to start talking Cubs, Vince over here busting chops, man.
I know,
he's got to
but
keep.
I mean, really, like the whole fantasy football thing got me listening to sports radio.
Yes,
But that's I think because I like podcasts and I like how they talk, like or just like what did they even talk about? It was weird because I was listening to the show on the way home. They were not talking about sports at all.
Yeah.
They were talking about their favorite Sopranos episodes.
Oh,
and they were talking about how a lot of the Sopranos actors kind of fell in with Goodfellas and kind of fell in with, I think there's another show too.
I was listening. I literally.
But
That's so cool that you bring that up, because I was actually listening to that exact thing, and it was funny because Zawoski was talking about his favorite Sopranos episode, which in turn ended up being kind of one of the most funniest ones. I personally haven't watched The Sopranos all the way through, but it's definitely not a humorous show. And the way how this guy was talking about it, it definitely sounded like it may have sort of kind of intended to be funny, but it's just not just a funny show.
No, for sure. And I mean, that was one of the points that they were making too. Is it's like it does have its funny moments, but it also did a lot for the community when it came to like or like therapy, because even through like the show, it kind of talks about how like was it Tony Soprano was all kinds of like um kind of against like therapy and kind of was like yeah whatever, and
Hmm.
then kind of at the end of the show, it's he's like well that was one of the things that saved my life, like being able to like kind of talk through the issues I was having or even kind of use that to yeah to kind of like find stability like where there wasn't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
So they
sir.
made a good point about it at the end. And then they were talking about offering Steve Buscemi, and I was kind of sad. So
Yeah, I definitely I need to check out The Sopranos for sure. That's I got a list of shows that I feel like I need to or kind of want to watch. Our buddy Arbogast has, also brought up a couple of series as well too, to check out on Netflix that I need to when and if I ever get some time check out. But yeah, man. Yeah.
I know I'm the same way. There's a lot of stuff out there that, like, I guess that's one of the things where it's like really the goal of even like the podcast for me is to have another like creation outlet or have another creative outlet. And that's just so big for me is just having something that's like, I guess a podcast really isn't tangible, but in some like source it is like something
Right.
that's out there that it's like you're able to express yourself. And
Yeah.
really I feel like that's kind of like at least the goal for myself right now.
It's I got to say that it's really exciting to be able to work on this podcast, with you. Um, it's I feel like it sort of kind of gets me doing some things I may not necessarily be 100% comfortable doing, and being able to uh just trying new things and making things successful is something I'm really kind of looking forward to doing, and really truly think that this I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun, and whether we have 5 listeners, 5,000 listeners, I feel like we're still podcasting regardless.
Oh yeah, and I mean really it's more of a it's a reason for us to kind of hang out outside of work too, even if like I'm at my house or at your house,
We
and
figured it
whoever
out.
else like at some point joins us too, you know.
Right.
Like it's awesome just having those like the different kind of like ideals, the different like voices.
It's
Yeah.
definitely I'm 100% up for the challenge. I hope people listen to us enough to the point where they I don't want to say they get sick of us, but at the same time.
I think some people at work might already be, but
I I'm pretty sure there's a couple of
now
them.
I'm just playing. Like, I mean, like I said, like, or like we even said, like, it's such a great community, like, such a great group to like work with and kind of like grow with.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Well, man, what do you say? You think we wrap this one up? Put this one to bed or
Yeah,
what?
that is
Man.
good, man. And of course, dude, thank you for joining me. Like, that's definitely like the shout out that I want to give is just Beyond the Cube podcast, and from there you'll start seeing our link like start seeing links to like bobandrufo.com, start seeing links to vincenthenings.com. And then yeah, even the affiliates or just not even the affiliates, but like just people that we can with like yeah, do stuff with.
Absolutely. We you know, we definitely discussed some of the segments and stuff that we would like to see and what we're going to do. We do have a lot of really cool things that we are looking to implementing as well too. Also to just to make it interactive and stuff. So um as we continue to grow and get better, stay tuned, man, because I know that this ride is going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I'm glad my boy Vince is I'm glad I'm along with the ride with Vince as well too, man. So Yeah, man. So what do you say? I'll wrap it up. You wrap it up. I'm any
Nah,
last words? Anything you want to say?
nah, just thank you guys for listening. And thank you for doing this with me.
Yes, sir. I give us 100% A plus plus, about 3 to 4 thumbs up. Man, yeah, it's been great. First episode in the books. Thank you so much for listening to the Beyond the Coop podcast. We definitely will be doing this again. We'll see you soon, right? Yeah.
Yep, correct.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, have a great one.